Mrs. Tripley, do not make the dog eat broken glass.
It's Friday evening in my luxury York penthouse flat. Mrs. Tripley is in a philosophical mood and bowls me an intellectual googly.
Disgusting.
I'm outraged at the foulness of her tongue and feel a sudden need to pick up my service wash from the laundrette.
Slag. You're a fat old slag.
Yes, dear?
Oh, hello. Can I have my washing? You said I could pick it up today.
What's your name, dear?
Smith.
Oh, you're the one with the skid marks on your smalls.
Please, there are people listening.
Never mind about that. Brenda! It's him with the prop cake all over his hair text.
Do you mind not discussing this in public?
Never mind about that. We couldn't shift it. I had to go with a flamethrower, didn't we, Brenda? Look at these marks, everybody. Look.
Could I have my underpants?
It's disgusting. What you been eating?
Please, can I have my underpants?
Been on the curry, have you?
Can I have my underpants? Mrs. Tripley, it's disgusting.
Back in the flat, I notice that Mrs. Tripley is feeling under par.
Mrs. Tripley, it is incest. You must stop feeling under par.
I mutter the runic phrase anal delation.
That was public school lavatory joke number 1.
And Mrs. Tripley's father is down the stairs faster than you can say Marietta Higgs.
Stop now, ladies and gentlemen. Sure, and I won't have me job much longer, ladies and gentlemen, now that Mr. Grade has gone.
He's good that way.
Meanwhile, for pleasure and profit, the Whippet and I have decided to jump in on the bandwagon of pirate television and interrupt the scheduled Wogan show with our own brand of anti-feminist commercial.
Okay, Whippet, throw the switch!
That's why, in tests, 8 out of 10 feminists who expressed a preference said they preferred whiskers.
That was a gratuitous sexist remark, and we at Ali Pally say this boy's days on the home service are numbered. Tortoise lovers, royalists, he's alienated them all. And now, most deadly, the feminists.
Let me explain in non-sexist terminology. Feminists enjoy nothing better than a good laugh, which is why they opt for nothing. They are humorless, fat, ugly, bearded old cows, and why oh why do I have to listen to her drivel until 3 a.m. every night?
I mean, like, you don't understand women's bodies, right?
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
We're oppressed.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
It's the lunar cycles.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Sisterhood is a close bond.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
I mean, eating the placenta, yeah?
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Male domination.
Yeah, you're right.
Ostensibly, I do listen to that drivel until 3 a.m., but this is what's really going on inside my head.
I mean, like, you don't understand women's bodies, right?
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
For God's sake, have a shave and get your kicks off. My thoughts are overheard. The next thing I know, I'm in a women's court with my gonads hanging in the balance.
Okay, silence in court, right?
I want a male judge.
Shut up, you. You're charged with being offensive to women. You got anything to say before we remove your gonads?
Yeah, you're all too fat and ugly to get a man. This is a kangaroo court.
Silence, shut up. It's not. It's a wallaby court. Right off with his toilet zones.
No, it's a kangaroo court. Oh, look, there's Skippy. Skippy!
Fortunately for me, my Whippet reads the newspapers and realizing that terrorism pays these days, no one mentioned the spineless French, rescues me by turning himself into a canine time bomb. We escape and take refuge in a nearby Japanese car factory. Before we knew what had happened, it was raining Datsun cogs.
That was public school Beano humour number 4.
Eat the bowels, Mrs. Tripley. Eat them.
On the train from Sunderland, delayed 56 hours, reasons, leaf on the line Grantham, I feast from the contents of my doggy bag. Not restaurant leftovers, no, this is real dog. The barbecued remains of my fictional Whippet. All the bits are there except for the ears.
I'll have a bit of spleen.
Bored, I switch on my Sony Walk person and tune into Radio 4.
Thank you. That was Dilly. This is Lippy saying over now to Jenny, who will introduce Katie and Vicky. Bibble Tampax.
I pontificate on why all female Radio 4 presenters have names ending in E. Katie, Vicky, Libby, Jilly, Dilly, Jenny, Marie, and realise that they're chosen because their names are words that sound like frilly, willy, billy, silly kindergarten words, which are the distillation of the programmes they present.
Excuse me.
Having starred in over 2 loose ends programmes during the past year, some good, some not so good, I'm constantly approached by members of the public eager to touch the hem of my garments.
Excuse me, you're a Mont Radio, aren't you? Can I have your autograph?
No, really, I'm not important enough.
Please, I just want your autograph.
Well, I'm very flattered. Let me explain in self-effacing terms.
If you're a star, you are a deep, complicated, shy, and essentially lonely person. As I'm being flattered, this is what I'm thinking.
I'd like your autograph, please.
Please leave me alone. You've fallen in love with an image. I'm just an ordinary sort of a guy.
What's it like to be famous? Can I have your autograph?
That is what I think I'm thinking. But scratch away the veneer of false modesty, and you'll find that really I'm wallowing in the attention.
Can I have your autograph?
Look at me, I'm wonderful.
Can I have your autograph?
Look at me, dooby-dooby-doo, I'm a superstar.
Can I have your autograph?
Of course you can, peasant. But peel away another layer,
For God's sake, leave me alone. I'm not public property.
This rich mixture of insincerity and arrogance fuels us media stars, but ultimately I prefer solitude. Like Garbo, every night I sprinkle grass seeds in my hair because I want to be alone.
That was Old Chestnut number 5B.
Meanwhile, I attempt to read my script. Meanwhile, I make a second attempt to read my script, but I fail. It's called padding the script. Meanwhile, my whippet's ears have been blown skyward and fall by a strange mischance onto the dinner tray of Aeroflot Flight 224 from Mokbar to London. It's next Monday morning, and the nice Mr. Gorbachev has tucked into a feast of oreille de whippet flambé and commences his speech. Fortunately, the loose ends translator of translators has provided me with a more accurate interpretation of the speech we will never hear on Monday.
Litoyski Glacinos, Rimsky.
Mr. Gorbachev say he likes closeness between Britain and Mother Russia, and he said...
What they both mean is, I wouldn't bother to eat over your dirty, filthy, insignificant dot of a country, but my wife Raiza wanted some of your Marks and Sparks thermal underwear.
Borodan Ivansky Vel.
Mr. Gorbachev say he wished to forge cultural link with your great nation.
What they both mean is that I do not want to be in the same room as your battle axe of a prime minister, but she bribed Raiza with 2 tickets for the Phantom of the Opera.
Gogol Velchnevsky Reyes.
He say your excellent healthcare program disseminates...
In short, he wants the port wine stain on his bonds bleached out on the cheap by the NHS, and she wants electrolysis for her beard on her gold Amex. Fortunately, I took the precaution of sending Mr. Gorbachev a copy of the Loose Ends Guide for Muscovites visiting London, and frankly, it should stitch him up a treat. Here are a few highlights. Number 1, when using London cabs, do not tip the friendly Cockney cabbie, simply ask him to shine your boots. Number 2, if you're taken short and unable to find a public lavatory, Muscovites are allowed to relieve themselves beneath blue signs marked with AP. World War III by Thursday, and back to you, Neddy.